Get this 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network. In this week's Get This, insiders reveal Richard Marsland's lipo nightmare. Says a source, his boobs are rock hard, his buttocks are right off, the washboard stomach's really a twin tub, and the so-called Prince Albert looks like the poster for Saw 4. This week's extraordinary snapparazzi exclusives include Javelin accident proves just another pole dancing opportunity for spiralling Britney Spears. Paris Hilton says, I don't do drugs while snorting the first of 5 tiny dogs. Matthew McConaughey leaps from balcony shirtless during Ingmar Bergman funeral. Thousands relieved as Ange's shocking skeletal appearance leaves boobs unchanged. Orlando Bloom makes little or no impression. Sozzled Lindsay claims, I was unconscious. My nether regions did the steering. Jude Law, he's just as sleazy in real life as he is in his movies. Katie Holmes says forced grins are the new black. Perez Hilton wins screeching competition. Kate Moss models this year's hottest tourniquets. Misha Barton completely forgets what it is she actually does in a stunning new ensemble from Fleur de Lis. New look Courtney Love booked for appearances on Conan, Leno and Ghost Train. Posh Spice spends $25 million on surgery and beauty treatments and still looks like scraggy old mole. And Tori Spelling, her baby bump has a boob dent.
Who says we don't have the celebrity exclusives? Whoa. Move over, Jackie O. It's all coming at you. All this month on Get This here at Triple M, it is Borgust. Hang on a sec.
Calculator, right? Look like a computer man.
What are you saying?
Like a computer man. Dressed up like a computer.
Yeah.
Send us a photograph. Win a crappy prize.
No,
all right,
see, I
so,
don't think the mariachi music is appropriate for Borgust, which
Right.
is, of course, where you dress up as a member of the Borg from Star Trek.
Now, a lot of people.
Despite my appearance, I'm not actually quite sure what they look like, but there's a lot of hoses and things sticking out of
The
it.
idea is, because Richard said the same thing to me this morning, he didn't know exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
The Borg look like half people, half computers.
Right.
With hoses.
Yeah.
Imagine you are half man, half, dishwasher.
Sure.
That's what we're talking about. But get this, we don't want you to go to any effort.
No, of course not. That would be too much trouble.
As the listeners suggest, stick a calculator on your arm. Put a colander on your head. Spray paint it if you've got spray paint. If not, just colour it in with a texture. That kind of thing. Just try and make yourself look half man, half computer. Pissy
What?
Sorry, my brain stopped.
You just
Ran out of sandwich.
ran out of sandwich. Look at that. That is what can happen. This is a young, fit guy, coasts the basketball team.
Yes.
If he doesn't keep eating every 10 minutes, his brain just switches off mid-sentence.
Straight away.
One of his eyebrows just fell on the desk, like Mr. Potato Head. Wow.
Take a bite of something. You want me to cover for you?
No, I've got it. I'm okay. There's some veggie patty in the back of my mouth I can get out with my tongue. There we go.
The results of that gastroscopy come in yet? Our listeners are waiting for your medical test.
Tomorrow we have a blood test, and if anyone would like to be there, station event. All right, how about this, Tone? Back to Borgust.
Yeah.
Send us a photograph, triplem.com.au, of yourself dressed as half man or lady, half computer.
Yep.
Went down to promotions today.
Yes.
Announced it to the room. No response.
Complete indifference. Just typing, continuing.
Yeah, and a little bit of tusk, and a little bit of hatred through the back of their heads towards me.
Are Hamish and Andy coming in to see us today?
Yeah, because I've done me hair. All right.
A little bit of,
However,
sexual
after some
tension.
No.
Yeah, there's always a bit of sexual tension down there in promotions.
So anyway, Jade, there you are. You've been named. I said, can I please have a prize? She said no. I said, please. She said, ready, listeners? Mm-hmm. The prize for the winner of Borgust is a remote-controlled helicopter.
That sounds good. That actually does sound like it might be quite good.
Yeah.
There's got to be a catch. It's just a cardboard cutout of a helicopter, is it?
No.
On the end of a bit of string.
Nope. It is a real remote-controlled helicopter
Do you think
for
people
the winner of Borgust.
someone who dresses up as a Star Trek character is going to be into a remote control toy.
I've thought of this.
Yeah.
You can play it still sitting in your living room. The helicopter flies around outside while you sit on a couch aiming the remote out the window.
So you can have one hand on the chat forum.
Absolutely right. Yeah,
one
yeah.
hand on the Voyager DVDs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And out the window.
That's brilliant.
I'm the coolest man I know.
Yeah.
You can tie your cat to it.
No, you
No,
cannot.
that would no.
No.
Why would you do that?
Well, I just thought because you're a cat fan.
Yeah, well, why would a cat want to... Oh,
Well,
it'd
just
be
give
cute.
the cat a ride.
But,
No,
Yeah.
it could be quite... No, don't do that.
Speaking of half creature, half machine, what is that clip you're showing me on YouTube? The cat with the fork for a hand.
yeah, little puss cat eats its dinner, Rich, by a fork. Hey?
Yeah, but how is the fork attached to the
Holds
paw?
it with its paw.
What do you mean holds it? Well, it hasn't got... The fingers are too small to grip onto a fork, I would have thought.
How do you know?
Well, because I've seen cats, the paws are tiny.
I've seen cats.
Each one is like a tiny bit of a corn cob.
Yeah, they claw. She claws
You
it.
can't grip.
And she uses chopsticks.
A fork is
It's
heavy.
a plastic fork.
It's sellotaped on.
It's not.
The woman's used a staple gun.
It's not a staple gun.
It's not Funniest Home Videos. There's no disclaimers on YouTube.
Listen, and hopefully the cat wants to meet Oprah Winfrey. So here's hoping.
Check that out. And speaking of, when we talk half human, half machine, we talk Carl Stefanovic.
Oh yes.
Now, here's how ingenious the Get This listeners are. As you know, Wikipedia have blocked any robot
Anything.
amendments to Carl's page. You try and make a change to Carl's page, up comes a warning. If it's got anything to do with robots,
You're out.
we're not going to add it.
Proving once and for all that Wikipedia has no interest in truth.
So what have the listeners done?
What have they done?
We can't get onto Carl Stefanovic's page,
No.
but we can get onto the page of any robot. So if you go to C-3PO's page, you'll now see a picture of Carl Stefanovic. Geniuses!
The other good thing about that is it's fine for those tiny amount of people that listen to this show and know that we talk about that. But for the literally billions of people who know who C-3PO is,
No.
they're clicking on there going, gee, cool, blimey, have you seen this? Apparently C-3PO's a bloke doing breakfast telly in Australia. Oh, his career's gone downhill, innit? Pass me that sack of chimneys, would you?
Sack of chimneys. All right. Let's all have a sack of chimneys. And what about Warwick Capper to DJ at Geelong Club as his porn film takes off? That's a great headline on the internet this morning. What do we know? He's running for mayor.
Of the Gold Coast, yes.
Think that'd be a full-time job? No. Leaping off cupboards, in the nick, onto,
The caboodle.
which is on the workbench, as he calls it,
Absolutely right.
the bed.
Yes.
1 hour and 9 minutes of solid homegrown porn.
Lots of zooming in and zooming out.
That's right.
$1 million, but he's handling the camera himself while taking part in it. All right. What's he doing now?
So how do you launch a thing like that?
Well, he's on tour DJing. I don't know. He says the X-rated film was probably the most out-there thing I've done in a while.
In a while.
I got good endurance. I'm an athlete. He said, but my favourite quote is he's talking about his DJ playlist. Oh, hang on. In regards to his mayoralty campaign, I'll be out there shaking some hands and kissing babies.
Shaking hands and kissing babies.
Got to do that.
Giving out copies of the film.
He says his DJ playlist will include favourites and lookalikes, Whitesnake and Van Halen, and U2. Listen to this quote. I like a bit of everything. Anything that's pretty loud, pretty heavy, and not too homosexual.
Whoa. Does Bros get in under that radar or they crossed the line somewhere? Because they're a lookalike, but maybe they're too homosexual.
A couple of young newcomers, cool bros.
Lining up the chats.
Had the what effect.
We need something hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to cross live to the offices of a top international record company
Really?
on the other side of the world.
Yeah, well, I was
I know, right?
supposed to
Yeah,
teabagging
that's
holiday
right.
with Robbie Williams.
Gentlemen, I have something you need to hear. Bring it in, boys. Okay. Inside this temperature-controlled safe, let me just get it open here. Okay. I have something that is going to save this corporation. Now, okay. Here we go. Let me just get this up. Okay. Now, inside here, I have... Just 1 second. I have a disc. I definitely have a disc. Now, this has traveled halfway around the world under high security. Okay. Here we go. This is the master recording. Ladies and gentlemen,
I give you the sound of the future.
The finger bus is coming and everybody's running from north to Ibiza in the Mediterranean sun.
It's amazing. But who is it? I don't know. Not yet, I don't. The search for a superstar. Coming soon to Get This.
Our
I'm
co-host.
buggered. I got to say, I am absolutely spent. I'm almost done.
Oh, it's Stephen Curry. How would you
Hello,
describe
sir.
him?
Nice guy, fun, dancer.
Oh, he's a dancer.
Well, I did get offered a spot on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, did you just?
last season and the one before. I don't think they've seen me dance. I don't think they have.
Hey, speaking of musical, all things musical, though, we were talking off air about a band that you were in.
Yes. My brothers and I used to play in a band together, the three of us.
And you said you were listed in a newspaper under some kind of top 10 list.
10 stupidest band names in Victoria. Our dad's name is Nev, and we became Nev's Vindaloo. Hey! Hello! Look out!
And how are the Vindaloo machine
mate,
performing these
they're
days?
Johnny Wonderpants now, and they're doing very, very nicely for themselves. Thank you very much.
Isn't one of your brothers like a world champion air guitarist?
Here's the deal. He was Victorian champion in 2002.
Okay.
Went up to the national titles, the NTs.
Oh, yeah.
The AGNTs.
AGNT.
Peter Rosethorn was the host, MC.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
always
yeah,
kind of
great
random
guitar.
judges. He ended up getting pipped by the guy who ended up doing the KFC ad. Who went by the name of Super Dave,
That's
I
right.
believe.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
Bernard went by the name of Weemus Get Bummy. And he was sensational. And even Peter Rosethorn to this day, if you speak to Peter Rosethorn, ask him about Bernard Curry getting robbed in the National Air Guitar
What do you think went wrong?
Apparently he didn't give out enough T-shirts. No joke. Super Dave came up with a big tour bus.
Real T-shirts and air T-shirts?
Gave out, I know, real T-shirts with
Okay.
Super Dave written on them, and it was terrible. And if you're out there, Dave, I'm coming to get you.
Wow.
Was your brother the guy who broke a string halfway through and a roadie came
Yeah,
out?
it had to
I've
come
heard
out.
of that.
Yeah, and in the
Beautiful.
Victorian Championships, he was warned that if that happened in the Nationals, right, the Nashos, he would be ejected.
Is that
Why?
right?
Well,
Why?
That's not
Because
allowed.
You're not allowed to have anyone helping you with your air instrument.
But that's a great joke.
Oh, it was great, and it was a great joke because he was the only one who did a medley. So he started off with a little bit of Van Halen, and then went a little bit of Slava Gregorian, even pretending to sit.
And what about smashing an invisible guitar, obviously, over an amp, a real amp, and having the amp blow up?
See,
Could you
this is what he
time that?
didn't
Could
think
you-
about. He would have taken the Nashos. He would have been on the KFC ad if he had done that.
What about the double neck air guitar? Because
Yeah.
I once saw Stevie Ray Vaughan and his
Yep,
brother in
yep.
concert doing that
Yep.
thing where you get a double neck guitar,
Yep.
and it must be bloody hard. One of them plays the string bit, and the other one plays the neck bit.
Ooh,
Of each
mildly
other's, so-
homoerotic, isn't it? Like
Yeah, it is, Tad.
And I think while you're playing that in air guitar, it's very hard to pay off that it's two necks. So you'd have to kind of go over the top neck and under the bottom. I don't know. I'm
So
no expert. You have to
how
ask my
much
brother.
musical talent is there in this Curry family?
Well, we can play air anything. No, there is a lot. My brother Andrew also plays the trumpet. Would you believe?
But you can play the real life
Now,
bongos.
there's a chick puller. James
The
Morrison's
bongos?
proven that. I can play the bongos. Yeah.
Sadly, we don't have any here.
Oh, see, that'd be great.
Can't
wouldn't it?
prove that.
That'd be great.
So hang on, trumpet,
Yep.
bongos,
Yep.
air guitar.
Yeah,
That's
real
the
guitar.
Curry
And
lineup.
There's real guitar in there as well somewhere. No, we can all play real guitar. And my brother Pete was the first one to play guitar, and he was the one who said, he sat me down, and I said, why do you play guitar? And he said, think about this. If there's 20 blokes around a campfire and one girl and one guy can play guitar, who's going to get the chick? I didn't stick around for the answer.
No.
I went and stole a
think it was-
guitar
go.
that very day, and I haven't looked back.
Now, hang on, Pete
Still
Curry.
haven't met a woman, but
How many Curry brothers are there?
there's 4 boys and a girl.
Wow.
Margaret's the oldest.
And who's vying for the role of Zeppo Curry? Do you think? Who's that?
Look, that was me up until I learnt to speak when I was 24. So it was good. I haven't looked back.
I always like hearing what actors have turned down. Have you
Yes.
turned down anything good lately, Steve?
Oh, yeah, you know what? I have.
What?
I have. Steven Spielberg,
Oh,
Tom
that-
Hanks.
Oh, those losers.
Those losers. What's he done since K9?
I think you're thinking of Turner and Hooch, but we'll move
Sorry,
on.
we will,
We'll move on.
Damn
We'll
it.
ignore that.
They're doing a very high budget series called The Pacific.
Yeah, it's a sequel to that
it's
Band of Brothers. Yeah.
And I auditioned for it.
Right.
And I auditioned for like a decent part in it. And then they kind of went, yeah, okay. They flew me up to Sydney
Oh, that's
to
good.
audition for a bigger part.
That's good.
Oh, a bigger part.
One that's definitely going to go to Seth Green.
Oh, wow.
And I auditioned for that, and they kind of at the end they said, "Okay, great, I knew it," and I went, "Oh, thank you, Simon." So they didn't know my name.
You're really
Simon Curry.
Yeah, and then I walked out a bit dejected, and the casting agent came out and gave me this other thing. She goes, "Oh, would you mind sticking around for 20 minutes and learning this new character because they're really keen to see you for it."
Even bigger.
Right? And I said, "But I don't think I'm going to have time." And she went, "You'll have time." And I looked at the character, and his name was Loudmouth.
Ah.
A wacky private, right, who waddles around in the background making little kind of wisecracks, and then he gets his head blown off in the fourth scene.
It's a crowd pleaser.
So I ummed and I ahed and I ummed again, and I thought, you know what? And it was going to be 25 days of shoot, sitting around having the joy of watching Americans work.
And did you say, I'll pass, but Simon Curry will take it?
That's right. Well, actually, no, expect a call, Ed, because they're coming for you.
Thanks very much.
But so there you go. So I can say, and don't, if you're out there, don't tell anyone about that it was a crap role. Just tell people I said no to Spielberg.
Spielberg
All right?
and Hanks.
And Hanks together.
Cop that. Quite fine thrashing about with an invisible crocodile. He'll do that. We love to talk about movie characters on this show. You know, movie stars and actors are fine, but what about the characters they play? Haven't there been some beauties over the year? Look at this list. This is in one of the recent issues of Entertainment Weekly. The 5 most awesomely preppy 80s movie villains.
Jeez, okay.
Who's the winner there?
Oh, that's the guy in...
Oh, what about Animal House?
Yeah, no.
No, that's 70s.
The one from the Tom
Thinking of Needlemeyer.
Needlemeyer.
Bachelor Party. The bad guy in Bachelor Party. The guy that they think he should marry.
No, that doesn't make the list. Number 1, James Spader in Pretty in Pink.
No.
You have a white suit? I think he might have a white suit in that.
Wasn't that preppy?
What about the bad guy in Karate Kid 2? Karate Kid 1, sorry.
Correct, comes in second.
Johnny.
William Zabka. Didn't even know that bloke's name.
The guy in Pretty in Pink?
That was number 1. Yeah.
Did you just say that? Is that what you were talking about?
Have another sandwich. That was number 1.
What was I doing?
James Spader. Well, you've chosen 1 and 2. Well done. Number 3, Ted McGinley in Revenge of the Nerds.
Ted McGinley in anything, pretty much.
What about Craig Sheffer in Some Kind of Wonderful?
Oh, yes.
They're scraping now. Aaron Dozier in Better Off Dead.
He wasn't that preppy. The John Cusack.
My
epic.
favourite 80s movie villain would have to be William Atherton. William Atherton. What? People don't know that name? You do know the face. He appeared in 2 movies.
Was he in Caddyshack?
No, the bad guy in Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
From the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
The one they call Dickless.
yeah.
And then, like a couple of years later, bad guy in Die Hard. Not Alan Rickman, not the coked up guy with the beard, the sleazy reporter guy.
Yeah.
That gets punched out by John McClane's missus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yes. Yeah, right.
You know, he showed up in the second one as
No,
well.
I'm with you. Yes.
How hateable was he?
Yeah,
That's one of
his
the great
face.
movie villains.
He's only done 2 movies ever.
I'm sure he's been in others, but
okay.
they're the only 2 people remember.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, Die Hard. Okay,
These are good movies.
these are great movie characters. We've got one in town at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah, Erin Brockovich.
Erin Brockovich is in town. She's a fictional character from the movies. She's burst to life and is, I don't know, solving a case or something.
And they've made a suit that someone has to wear.
Yeah, well, according to Julia Roberts, she was invisible because she wasn't even thanked in her Academy Award acceptance speech. Remember that?
Okay.
Whose life
Well,
the whole
no,
movie
but
was
You
based
still
on.
smarting about that, Rich?
Still smart, Rich.
Yeah, cut me deep.
Fight the power, man.
Good on you, Rich.
So yeah, no, she's. This is great. Someone sent her a letter saying, "Can you give us a hand? We're suing the aluminium giant Alcoa."
Yeah.
So she's come over to lend her expertise. So it's a David and Goliath battle, just like the movie, right here in Australia. She can't go to the actual place where the problem is though, because she's got allergies.
Fair enough.
But she'll do it from a few thousand miles
yeah,
away.
no, that's okay. Phone it in.
Erin Brockovich.
Alcoa.
So what are you saying?
The evil terrorist organisation, Alcoa.
So what are we talking about, Rich?
Movie characters to the rescue, even though she's real.
Okay, so this is what other movie characters would you like to see come out to Australia to just help us out with stuff?
Okay.
Give us an example, Ed.
Well, the basketball team, the Weaponettes. I'm Emilio Estevez from the Mighty Ducks, taking them from tears to effing glory, as Chopper would say.
Sure.
But I need an opposite number. I need a bad guy coach from an opposite team.
Ted McGinley. William Atherton.
William Atherton.
James Spader.
Well, I'm thinking, the Robert Duvall in Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
Rodney Dangerfield from Ladybugs.
What about Robert Duvall from The Great Santini?
Okay, yeah, either way. Yeah, absolutely right. I need a tough as nails opposition coach.
Brian Dennehy, surely.
That's a good idea for me to butt heads with.
What about Paul Newman in Slapshot?
Great idea.
Great idea.
Paul Newman in Slapshot. This is what I need.
Then I could play the Hanson brothers.
Apollo Creed. I need an Apollo Creed.
Sure you do. All right, well, that's okay. There's some movie characters to help Ed with his sporting career. I'm thinking I'd just like to see Fred Willard's character from Best in Show.
Oh, the commentator.
The dog show announcer. Just come out and be on Dancing with the Stars. Then I tune in.
That's a good idea.
Next to Sonia, whatever her name is. Just saying he went for her like she was made out of ham. There's a great movie character.
Yep.
Mr. Marsland.
Okay, I'd like someone to come in and give this show direction. Give it the oomph it needs. Help us out with some of the comedy. And that's why I'd like Bruno Kirby's character in Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh. Yeah, the sort of buttoned up, tight-ass station manager.
Yes.
There was some great lines there.
Funny is good. Funny is good. But do it by using antics and humour, not police action and coffee remarks.
Paul Giamatti from Private Parts. He might be able to help us out
Pig
as well.
Vomit.
Pig
Another
Vomit.
great movie character. What about? I think at the moment it feels to me like the person who is cracking the whip on this show is Ralph Brown in With Noel and I. Be seated. It will pass.
Essentially a hippie drug dealer for those who haven't seen it.
He showed up on
In Wayne's World.
Life on Mars recently.
Did he?
Totally unrecognisable.
Really?
The bloke with the moustache. Yeah. The bloke with the moustache from Life on Mars. Another great character.
I know the listeners are going, he's got it. Yes, I've got it now.
We don't want TV, movie characters. Erin Brockovich is here. Why can't they all come out? Which movie characters would you like to see here?
Hello, Jason. How are you?
Not too bad.
Firstly, thank you very much for decoding our insane premise.
It's a Marsland special.
And who have you got for us?
Kevin Kline as Dave.
Oh, the president.
Yes.
In
For Johnny Howard.
to help out John. Now, what was Dave's speciality? This was an Ivan Reitman genius production, wasn't it?
Yes, he looked like the president.
Oh, so there were two Kevin Klines?
Look, how many Kevin Klines? There's probably 10 Kevin Klines.
Oh, Jason, you're
This is
onto
double.
something there.
Right.
Yep.
So if we could get someone who looks like John Howard, we could maybe do a day. Is there someone we know who looks like John Howard, but is sort of sexier?
Was it you who said he looked like the dad from Alf? Or maybe, no, the dad from Mork and Mindy. Is that the one that you thought he looked like?
I don't. Do they fit under the category of sexy? I've seen photos of the dad from Alpha and a Crack Den.
Oh, yeah.
That's maybe a good look for
Yeah, that's a
John
great
Howard.
look for him. Okay, thank you, Jason.
Hang on. Deborah Conway is yelling something to us. What?
Oh, here we go.
Kevin
there you
Rudd,
go.
there you go.
Yeah.
He's
Thank you,
John
Jason.
Howard 2.0. That's who he is.
Hello, Alec. How are you, sir?
I'm not sure of the actor's name, but he plays the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Edward Rooney.
Oh, Jeffrey Jones.
That's him.
And what would he do while he's out here?
Oh, just give the principals of the schools around here to get a hold on their kids.
Yeah,
How to
that's
teach them a
right.
lesson or two.
Child obesity, vandalism. Take
Yeah.
care of it all.
I remember, Alec, that he breaks into students' houses that are truant, doesn't he?
That's right, and he even goes out on the streets looking for him.
Not a bad plan. Not a bad
Principal as
plan.
a truant officer, you can't beat it.
There you go. Thank you, Alec.
I don't think Jeffrey Jones is available. A few legal troubles, but he's still getting work in Deadwood.
Is he?
He's the newspaper publisher in Deadwood these days.
Hello, Jeff.
I'd like to see the Ghostbuster with the glasses because he looks exactly like you, Tony.
Oh,
and
Harold Ramis.
Now, this is Harold Ramis, who also wrote the films. What are you thinking, Jeff? What's Harold Ramis and his little ectoplasm gun going to do?
he could probably act as Tony's stunt double for those Lavender newspaper interviews.
Oh, okay. My newspaper interview's coming across a tad lavender. So we're going to get Dr. Egon Spengler to fill in for me.
Good idea, Jeff.
Yeah, he was seen recently Knocked Up.
He was.
Played Seth Rogen's dad.
Yes, he did.
Bang
Did a
up
fine
job.
Thank you, Jeff. G'day, Scott.
Bit of an obscure, and I'm not sure of the guy's name, but he played Rudy in the movie Hot Dog the Movie. He's the Austrian ski guy. I reckon he'd be a great opposite coach because you could give him the old, you can kiss me, you know, we're not on this side, not on that side, but right in the middle.
That's right. Now, I've been racking my brain since this segment we started talking about this, is what Hot Dogs was, and suddenly it's come back to me. That was the one where it's like a ski race at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, and he's the bad Austrian bloke who's tries to pinch his missus all the time.
Yeah, and he's got the really big Carrera reflective sunglasses.
All in black.
That's it, and the shock of white hair. I remember in that movie for some reason that all of the men wore, appropriate ski attire, but all the women wore bikinis and skis.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was always sunny.
It was always
Isn't it
sunny.
amazing
We
how
shot
it's-
in Malibu.
It's amazing to me how it's easier to remember that obscure film called Hot Dogs than it is to remember Hot Dogs from Big Brother.
Yeah, it's
remember?
amazing.
It's like years ago, doesn't it?
Hello there, Mark. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Excellent, mate. Who do we need out here?
Walter Solchek from The Big Lebowski.
Oh, Richard Marsden's favourite film.
If you want a toe, he can get you a toe.
That's right. 30 minutes, apparently, he can get you a toe in.
I can get you a toe by 3.
Possible to find a toe and apply some green nail polish.
What we want him doing when he's out here, though?
Getting people toes.
All right.
I meet people all the time who need a toe.
People want toes.
Or he could whip up some ringers out of bagfuls of dirty undies.
Oh, this is sensational.
This is great stuff.
And also he knows how to do the cheapest funerals in town.
He does.
He just gets a coffee cup and puts your ashes in it and throws it out of the ocean while talking about Vietnam for no reason.
That's right. And throwing it all over your best friend's face.
Wow. What an amazing emporium.
Everybody wins.
What a great cast. What a great bunch of movie recommendations from the listeners. Thanks to everyone who took part.
Good to hear hot dogs being discussed 21 years after its release.
On a national forum. Deborah Conway is about to hit the road with Broad 3 coming to your town. What a top night that's going to be. Last time I saw you, I think, was at Hessie's Shed.
It's a long time ago.
Paul Hester, our good friend, and, what a great series that was.
It was fun. I remember I sang Here in My Arms, and I had Alma, who was my second-born child, in my arms, suckling at the time of the sound check.
Whereas I think I brought out the guys from Puppetry of the Penis. So
That's right.
swings and roundabouts, classy old night.
It was.
Funny watching, they seem to be doing one of those classic album style series now in Australia. Did you see that on SBS?
My
the other-
brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
How about that?
Making
the
that.
whole world is interconnected. Yes, Larry Meltzer, my brother-in-law, is the producer, the
I
director.
love it. I love any show where someone sits down at a mixing desk and gets a great bit of music and then pulls down a whole lot of the faders and just lets you hear one bit, like just the guitarist for a minute.
It's going nuts. God, that really that
favourite
turns
thing.
you on, that stuff.
And it's my favourite film clips are the ones where we're in the studio watching them make the song. The one for "Give Me a Man After Midnight" by ABBA. It's just all Benny twiddling knobs and nodding to the singers.
It's working. It's really working.
But they did one on Crowded House, and there was some great Hesse footage there.
That was Saturday night, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's right. I was coming back from Darwin on the red eye, sadly.
Now, during the song, you said to me, Ed seems to know a bit about music. Is he musical himself?
Yes, I did ask that. And the question I sense is about to be answered.
I'm
Ed.
sorry,
Unfortunately,
Deb,
yes.
I'm going to have to ask you to put the headphones on again.
no.
You may regret it, I warn you. Okay, hit us,
doing to
Mr. Marsland.
Taste the wild honey. Listen to the sound of the wind that's blowing through the trees.
Yeah, any pointers?
Yeah, I think you guys should get a band together.
Yeah, well, that's
I really do.
And then drive it off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's from a segment we do called Keith Urban Lyrics or Children's Poetry. So that's what that's about.
Hey, Deb,
Perfect.
I'll tell you where else I saw you. At the movies years ago, I saw, look, I have to be honest with you, I didn't understand a word of it. Prospero's books,
Yes.
a Peter Greenaway sort of Shakespeare, I don't know, mashup.
Yes.
And there
That's
were
nice.
you.
That's a nice description.
Well, it was all, I don't know, it was like watching a website that did Shakespeare for an hour.
That was cool.
It was John Gielgud.
John Gielgud had all the lines.
Yeah, that's right. He spoke
just spoke every line.
everyone's
And
part.
that's right. So no one could understand anything that you ever knew about Shakespeare or The Tempest was completely lost.
How did you get into that?
In the great, how did I get? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good question. Well,
No offence,
No,
but-
no, that's all right. I slept. No, I didn't. I was a good friend of Michael Nyman, who was the composer
Oh, yeah.
and has a long-time associate and composer of Peter Greenaway. Although I believe that their association ended abruptly after that film. As a matter of fact. Anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. So Michael Nyman rang me up and said, "Hey, what are you up to? Annie Lennox has just dipped out of the role of Juno, and I need a quick replacement. You want to do it?"
Right.
So I said, "Oh, sure, okay."
And-
I mean, we just met, and he hadn't really even heard me sing. It was quite brave of him, really. So I trotted off down to Abbey Road and
Wow.
and sang it with the London Symphony Orchestra. And then-
And you tell me you're the only person in that movie that kept their clothes on.
Pretty much. There was a couple of us, but there weren't many. We were definitely in the minority. I'd have to say about that film, in fact, perhaps his whole oeuvre of work, really, that about Peter Greenaway, so much nudity, so little sex.
That's right.
I think that can really sum it up.
He drives me
And,
nuts, that Peter Greenaway.
Really?
The one I always remember is, and I've talked about this before, Drowning by Numbers. It's an art movie when numbers appear, just hidden in the background. There'll just be a number 12 just hidden in a vase somewhere.
Why?
It becomes like watching Where's Wally?
Has these strange obsessions, the left and right thing, and Belly of an Architect, or was it? No, it wasn't that one.
Yeah, I remember the
Was
one,
the-
the Z and two
Z and
noughts.
two noughts, that's the one.
They gave you
Z
like
and two noughts.
a piece of paper that explained the film as you were leaving it.
Yeah.
Nothing like that with Half Past Dead.
Draftsman's Contract was looking really straightforward.
That's
By
right.
the time you got to
Hey, but
through to
these
those.
are
Walk
all-
through H. Gee, that was a walk in the park.
These are your fancy art house movies, Deborah. What about your early work on the Australian screen? Were you in Running on Empty?
I stand accused.
What was that? That was a car chase film, wasn't it?
It was. Look, I'm telling you, people. I was at that premiere, and they wolf whistled, not at the shower scene, mind you, but at the cars.
Yes,
There were
right.
some sexy cars in that film.
We had someone call up this show. Do you remember the guy called up and we were talking about mistakes in movies? And the guy goes, in Running on Empty, they say it's a V8, but if you listen to the sound effects, it's clearly not. They've
clearly
dubbed
a
something.
V6.
So a car was overdubbed.
That's right. You know, occasionally I do get people coming up to me and go, "Wow, you were in my favourite movie of all time." And I think, oh, gee, you've had a really kind of sheltered life or something. Or and I look at them and go, yeah, that sort of makes sense.
And they show you their Prospero's Brooks tat
Yeah.
on their
That's
on their
right.
arm.
That's the one.
You know, do you ever get yourself into the papers with any sort of controversy or outrage or, you know, the
it's-
women's mags?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but okay, highlights, let me see. Back in 1981 or something, I was the bare bottom that graced the billboards maybe around Australia, but definitely around Melbourne, with an ad that said, "Get yours into bluegrass."
Man.
Now, do you recall that ad?
No, but Ed seems to be typing that into Google.
Very cute
Google
bottom.
images, here we
Very
go.
cute bottom.
And this would be the days before computer restructuring of your ass.
That's
for
correct.
billboards.
It was a young bottom. Anyway, look, it was a completely anonymous ad, of course, but I happened to be living with a couple of journalists at the time, and one night, playful hijinks took us over, and spoke to one of them on a sort of on the record type interview, saying it's all behind me now, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Of course.
And anyway, so it appeared in the Herald Sun, and which was all fine, except my mother was absolutely freaked out and
Oh,
went
really?
screaming around to my grandmother's house to pull out the offending page so she couldn't. She would never know. And I think she honestly did go to her grave completely innocent of that fact. Anyway, so that was the first highlight. The second highlight was the opening segment on the show called
Radio?
Blah, Blah, Blah.
Oh, Blah, Blah, Blah.
Andrew
Andrew
Denton's
Great series.
Andrew Denton's first show. So he'd done Beatbox, but he was coming back to with the second ABC show, Blah, Blah, Blah. And he started out with a monologue to the audience about what the show was about and the topics that would all be up for discussion, and that it would get people in to discuss these in a serious way. He just neglected to tell the audience that the first subject was sex.
Right.
And then, so the opening gambit, his opening question to me was, "So when did you lose your virginity?"
Okay.
You know, perhaps
We're
there could
away.
have been there could have been a softening kind of way to get into that. But, you know, I was clued up. It's just that they weren't. Anyway, so we swiftly came around to the subject of condoms, at which point I confessed, you know, as the queen of controversy that I am, that I wasn't keen on condoms, particularly when they were being stuffed down my throat. No, you know,
Well,
you know,
there's our
in
water
an
cooler
in an
roll credits.
in an ironic way. Because there were people in the crowd, you know, and it was the wrong thing to say, of course,
Yeah,
for
well,
the best reasons, you know,
Yes.
showbiz.
nothing like that could
So,
ever go to air on this program.
So anyway, The Truth picked that up. Remember The Truth?
Yeah, we love The Truth.
So that also got me into a little bit of trouble.
My favourite story ever, I've mentioned it before on The Truth, was the man who had sex with the horse with the aid of a stool. And there was just a shot of a horse in the paper with the rape victim underneath it, just under its face. And then it said that the man is now being held under observation at such and such mental hospital in a cell overlooking picturesque Warrnambool racecourse. There are geniuses writing for The Truth. Those were the days. Discontinued Foods. That's Mr. Marsland's topic for today.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
You know Bounty bars,
Yeah.
full of coconut goodness. Do you remember tropical Bounty bars?
No.
Well, the good fellows at Bounty went back into the jungle and dredged out all sorts of papaya, rock melon,
Stop drooling.
melon stuffs, and little berries, and they mashed them all up and brought out a yellow insided Bounty Bar.
Oh, I don't know about that. Something about yellow rice. It's just a little off-putting.
But rice?
It's
coconut, man.
Sorry.
They put rice in a Bounty Bar?
You know,
hang on, did your mum send you off to school with Bounty Bars, just rice wrapped in bark?
They were home brand Bounty bars.
Delicious.
what about a tiny box of sultanas? You can still get that, I'm hoping.
Well, yeah.
That was-
If you want them.
If you wanted to be beaten up, that's what you needed in one of the segments of your lunchbox. But no, I think the discontinued food we get the most emails about here is the KFC Works Burger.
Tower Burger.
Tower Burger, sorry, pardon me. It was
Got an
like
update.
about 8 Works Burgers on top of each other.
It went chicken,
Okay.
mayonnaise,
You're gonna do every
lettuce.
layer.
Hang on. Just let me get to the end. Chicken, I'll start again. Chicken, lettuce, mayonnaise, inner city apartments, cheese,
Rice.
hash brown, bark, box of sultanas,
Gymnasium,
roof garden,
home cinema,
John Gielgud.
in the nutty for no reason.
and bun. Now, gone,
What a burger!
gone from our shores, but alive and well in Europe. Adam Milinkovic says, "G'day, guys. Just been to Europe. Got myself a Tower Burger in London, Paris, and Barcelona. What a trip.
We had a call from Jamie as well on saying that you can't get Pop Rocks
You know
anymore.
why?
Because Mentos and Diet Coke have stolen their thunder?
No. They're exploding thunder. No, because unfortunately, the young fellow that advertised them in America
No, that's an urban
choked
myth.
on them.
That's
No,
an urban
is that
myth.
true?
That's an urban myth.
How do you know?
I've heard that one. No, he had the Pop Rocks and then he drank a can of Coke
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, and he exploded.
Yeah, his head exploded.
Yeah.
I've seen it on YouTube.
The guy from the
That-
Listerine ad, his cheeks just inflated to the size of a giant balloon.
I know that guy. He's had
Never
a
seen again.
lot of surgery to get that fixed.
Everything that happens in an ad can happen in real
Must
life.
be true.
All right, this is nonsensical.
I've got one, the Monaco bar.
Oh, man.
Where's the Monaco
Oh,
bar gone?
What was in the Monaco bar?
Oh, man.
It was ice cream within 2 chocolate biscuit. So I've got sensitive teeth, so it was a great way to eat ice cream.
He has got sensitive teeth.
Oh, you poor little face got so sensitive.
You'll often just see them listening to an Enya album on their own in our office.
Let me ask you
Yeah,
this, Richard. How do you eat a Monaco bar?
Well, you just in big chunks. but-
No.
Oh,
You grab it and you sort of lick the perimeter.
no. Okay.
Creating a sort of a biscuit balcony. that
Yeah.
You can then get your tongue underneath and chew out from underneath itself.
Yeah, but they're saying the Maxibon now has taken the Monaco
No.
bar's place, but I can't take them.
No, it's all bells
Keep-
and whistles, the Maxibon.
Keep the Monaco bar wanting more. That's
What a
what
great-
you've got to do.
What a great topic.
I think if you write the alphabet with your tongue, it likes that.
It does. It's like a Chinese fellow.
You know the Monaco bar.
I know that
It's
guy.
around.
Hi, Loretta.
My favourite would be that I would love to get back is the cappuccino flavoured gay
Oh,
time.
touche. Now, Loretta,
Yes.
there's a little known fact about gay times. Do you know that they contain no chocolate?
Ooh, I wasn't aware of that.
It's all caramel based.
And that's maybe why I like it more.
Maybe.
Because I eat a crunchy just to enjoy the honeycomb instead of the chocolate.
Now, you've just had your cappuccino flavoured gay time. What are you chasing it down with, Loretta?
Would that be a 3-bean salad from KFC?
A 3-bean salad.
You're right, Loretta.
First they lose the tower.
Yeah.
Now the 3-bean salad.
Now, Loretta, were you firmly in the 3-bean salad camp?
No,
or did-
to be quite honest, my auntie and I were talking about it on Monday. She was a lover of this, and we went to KFC and we got coleslaw, but she was still wishing that she could order the 3-bean salad.
Coleslaw. I love how they're still holding on to the coleslaw.
Coleslaw is just a support act to the 3-bean salad.
This is correct.
So at KFC, we want the return of the Tower Burger, the 3-bean salad, and the Gus and Dave ads on the TV.
The latently homosexual. Thank you, Loretta. Hello, Steve.
Look, another one of the victims of the evil rationalisation of street ice creams.
Yep.
It was the triple treat.
Triple treat. Now, Steve, talk us through the triple treat.
Okay, probably before your time, mate.
No, I do remember them.
Oh, good. Okay, it was chocolate on the outside, 2 layers of ice cream, pretty good ice cream too, and in the middle there was a big pink marshmallow.
Oh, man.
And it was excellent. It was an absolute ripper, but it's gone.
Now, I do remember this, Stephen. I remember it being in the vein of a Monaco bar, kind
It
of
was
like
a bit like your Monaco bar, and you're right. What's the other one? The Maxi-Bon. It's no Monaco bar.
You're absolutely right, Steve.
Exactly.
So, Steve, do you just spend all your time trying to stuff marshmallows into Maxi Bonds and crying?
No, look, but I have been known to sort of drop in at little corner shops that probably don't sell a lot to check if there's any triple treats left.
See if
Good
they've
on
got
you,
any
Steve.
sort of under the counter.
Some heritage
Never know.
ones. Chantal, how are you?
The Bertie Beetle. You can only buy it in the show bags now.
Absolutely right. Now, of your Birdie Beetles, Chantal, what is your favourite incarnation?
Well, the Cadbury's have done like a Freddo with Cadbury crunchies in it, but it's just not the same.
It's not the
Can't
same.
replace- No.
Yeah, you're right. Now, Chantal, which part of the country are you in?
Melbourne.
Because at the Ekka in Brisbane, which is about to start, or may have even started a couple of days ago.
Still birdies in the show
Still birdies. So if you know someone in Brisbane, Chantal, they could bust you up some.
So where are the showbag people getting their supply of birdies from? I mean, is there just a big birdie warehouse? It's not showbags only.
Secret backyard laboratories.
I think it might be.
A lot of people, when they get busted for making ice, they go over to Birdie Beetles.
Yeah, they just find a big bucket of birdies.
Away they go.
A whole lot of cocaine on the top, and you remove that.
It's Birdie Beetles.
All birdies underneath.
Get this, it's Blown Out to 2 hours, 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network.